the Patriot way was being developed more so during that time because keep in mind they only won one Super Bowl prior to. So it was being developed. We understood, the makeup of what was going on. So it was kind of an adjustment period for me um, going into that. So I think for my very first practice there, it's kind of was like, okay, I couldn't really wrap my head around what was going on because I was so like, I don't want to be here. That was my that was really what it was for me. Like I don't want to be here. And it wasn't the organization. I just didn't like my coach, my receiver coach. His name is Brian Daboll. I didn't like him because he had no idea of how to play wide receiver, and it just he was a yes guy. He didn't have no common sense of his own, and anything common sense, he just would say it is what it is, and I always hated that. He was cool off the field, but he didn't know who he was. So when he gets to the field, when he gets to the stadium, he tries to be Bill, he tries to be Charlie Weiss, and that didn't work for me.
Wait, so you're telling me that Dayball wasn't out there running routes and showing you how to?
No, he had no idea. He had no idea. He had no idea what he was doing at that time. He just happened to be lucky that he had older guys who already was there, like Troy Brown, David Pattons. So he was lucky to fall into a good group of guys who were already professional.
Now, how was that like being a rookie coming into a room like that? Because I'm a big Troy Brown fan. Love that. David Patton. What was that experience? Did you have one of the older guys that kind of took you under the wing, or was it kind of like a, man, you got to figure this out yourself kind of moment?
No, I had a good group of veterans. I did. Everybody was about. That's the thing I say about the Patriots. They were about the team. So I say the Patriot way ultimately is about the greater good of the team. So there was no. I didn't get hazed or anything like that because I had just a good group of guys, man. Rest in peace, my boy David Patton. He's just really a good dude, and he kind of took me under his wing a little bit. Um, I was kind of outspoken about certain things, and
Really?
he kind of took he kind of took me under his wing a little bit. And for me, they were never they never saw me as my comp. You here to replace me. They never looked at me like that. It was just like, hey, you're a part of this thing that we have going on. Hey, do your job, and that's really what it was about.
This identity is still being developed. Brady's not like, oh, the GOAT. Oh, it's like, okay, is this guy really supposed to be the starter? Or so how was he? Because you and him actually seemed, from a fan's perspective, and just to plug it, that's our for the fans, by the fans. But from a fan's perspective, it seemed like even though y'all didn't play together for just like a decade long, y'all seem to always have really good chemistry.
Hmm. I mean, I don't know.
Would you disagree?
Um, so my rookie year, me and Tom were cool. My rookie year. After that, we were not cool anymore. So my rookie year, it was just a lot of, like I said, it's the development. They kind of had the Patriot way in place, but it wasn't as developed as it is you see now. And so it was a lot of that going on. Tom was establishing himself as the guy, of the team during that time. So my rookie year, this is why I didn't get along with Dayball. Just want y'all to understand this before we get into Tom. I didn't get along with Dayball is because he knew I was a better player than the guy he would put out there before me, right? Not taking away from anybody else, anything like that. But he's one of those guys that was like, well, I'm going to be super safe and go with this guy because he's a veteran over this guy who I know can, that he can do his thing or whatever. So what they did to me my rookie year was made me they drafted me as a wide receiver. So at Texas A&M, I wasn't really a returner. Dante Hall was our returner. So even with punt return, I only did it my senior year because I feel like no one else could do it better than me. So I'm gonna go and do it for our team. That's why I did it. So then I get drafted. I'm a wide receiver that can return. I'm not a returner that plays wide receiver, right? So they put me at returner that year. And mind you, that year, this is why I had an issue with the whole organization, right? That year, it was about humbling me. For some reason, it was like, we got to humble this kid. And I'm not one of those kids that was just like braggadocious, nothing like that. None of that. It's just that I spoke my mind on things that I didn't agree with. And that just period. And so that year, they made me the kickoff returner, right? They waited till I think the 5th game of the season to really make me the feature. And I still was a Pro Bowler that year, right? Dante Hall was the he was the choice. I was the alternate that year. But you know when I found out that I was a Pro Bowl alternate? The Super Bowl. Mind you, they had already gave out these names and stuff like this. Belichick called everybody's name, and everybody got whatever. But when he left me off of it. So me and David Givens, if you ever can get a hold of David Givens, we are standing on the sideline at the Super Bowl, and they're showing the Pro Bowl, like the teams and the highlights of the players who made the Pro Bowl. Mine show up. He said, "Man, you made the Pro Bowl." I said, "I guess so." I had no idea. So it was all of that. That's why I had a problem for years with this organization, because they, for some reason, they chose me to be the one that they do all these things to, even and not understanding that, man, if y'all just let me do what I do, let me do what got me drafted, and we'll be fine. And they didn't want to do that. They wanted to control all of that. That's the Patriot way, is to control those outcomes.
Well, you did make Tom look pretty good, though, in the times that y'all were on the field together. I will say that.
Yes, that's the thing. Like we had because the way I play with the mentality is it don't matter if I'm a starter or I'm coming off the bench. I have one opportunity, so I got to take advantage of it no matter what. And that's how I play the position. Is I got one opportunity to do it, so I'm gonna sell out every time.
Well, then I'm just going to ask you, is Tom Brady the GOAT, or is he a product of his environment?
When he left, I mean, he's the GOAT of this era, you know. And I think in the beginning, it was more of a combination of him and Belichick in the beginning. But as he became the guy and he became who he is now, I think it's more on him than he's proved that when he went to Tampa Bay and took him to the Super Bowl, that he is that guy. So I can't say he's the GOAT in this era, but that's just this era, because you can't say he was the GOAT in the first 10 years of his career. You wasn't saying that, even though he was in Super Bowl. You wasn't saying that. It wasn't until later people started recognizing, oh yeah, this guy is the GOAT.